You're saying that players like Carmelo Anthony, Russell Westbrook, and John Wall, they don't have that ability. It's ridiculous. I'm done, man. I was not expecting this from Collin at all. Even though I wasn't surprised, but I wasn't expecting
Green,
it.
as you know. Draymond Green to me has always been Dennis Rodman, but with skill. You fanboys out there, you love your Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony. They've never made a teammate better. John Wall's never made a teammate better. Westbrook has never made a teammate better. Draymond Green has made every teammate he's ever played with better. Last night, he hit 2 field goals. And there's an argument to be made, totally discombobulated the Celtics offense in Jaylen Brown and was the most valuable player on the floor. Took Jaylen Brown out of his game, led both teams in assists, led the Warriors in minutes, complete catalyst, hit 2 field goals. But we live in a world, everybody wants to get on the cover of Slam magazine, and everybody wants to show me your baskets. And find me the teammate Westbrook's made better in his career. Isn't that kind of what basketball is, winning and stuff? Like, isn't that why we're playing? Or is it just for you to get your triple-double? I'll give you an example. The fanboys just don't get this. You ever played basketball at the Y? Let me simplify it. Have you ever played basketball at the Y? The one guy you do not want to guard or to be guarded by, trash talks, dives, he's always touching you, he's always banging into you, it's all elbows, all knees, you're on the floor, and you're playing at the Y, and you're like, I'll have anybody guard me except that guy. And he's never the most talented. He has to compensate for his lack of offensive skill. It's the one guy at the Y you don't want near you. He's sweating on you and grabbing you and bumping into you and trash talking, and he's kind of intimidating, and you're always getting your legs and your arms wrapped. It's the one guy you don't want to play against. That is Draymond.
If you want to give someone a compliment, you have to demean, talk about somebody, or just show them in a bad light if you want to give somebody a compliment. But you don't have to do that. And that's what Collin did here, saying that Carmelo Anthony, John Wall, and Russell Westbrook never, keyword, never made their teammates better. Think about that. Carmelo Anthony, a Hall of Famer, John Wall, who was on a path to becoming a Hall of Famer if he just stayed healthy. I believe if John Wall was healthy and playing at the same level he was playing at a couple years ago before he had that crazy injury in the bathroom or wherever it was at, he would be in the Hall of Fame in the future. And Russell Westbrook, another first ballot Hall of Famer. If you're a Hall of Famer, you have to make your players better. There's no way at all. There's no one in NBA history that is a Hall of Famer and he has not made his teammates better. It's impossible. You cannot be a Hall of Fame player without making your teammates better, Collin. And this is no disrespect to Draymond Green at all. Draymond Green is a good player. But once we start comparing Draymond Green to players like Westbrook, players like Carmelo Anthony, and even a prime John Wall, you cannot do that. These are generational talents, okay? These are some players that we won't ever see again. We will see another Draymond Green again. It's probably a couple of Draymond Greens in the NBA right now. But you will never see a Westbrook again. You will never see a John Wall again. And you will never see a Carmelo Anthony again. So to disrespect these players and say that they never help or push their teammates or made their teammates better is ridiculous. So we have a list here. And we will start off with Carmelo Anthony first. So Carmelo Anthony coming into the NBA. Of course, we knew who Carmelo Anthony was. He was an amazing player. Played at Syracuse freshman year. He wins the national championship. Okay, he has this type of pedigree, championship pedigree, okay, before he comes into the NBA. And before he went to the NBA, before he played a single game with the Denver Nuggets, before he was drafted to the Denver Nuggets record was this: 17-65. Not 65-17. 17-65. That's the Nuggets. Pre-Carmelo Anthony. Post-Carmelo Anthony, when Carmelo Anthony arrived on the scene his rookie year, he did something that the great LeBron James didn't even do. He went to the playoffs his rookie year in the Western Conference. 43-39 record. Now you're telling me that somebody who, the media paints the picture around Carmelo Anthony, oh, he's a ball hog. He doesn't care about his teammates. He's not well coached. He doesn't listen to nobody. He only cares about money. Somebody that cares about all those things help his team go from a 17-65 record to a 43-39 record. Explain that, Collin. Explain it, because I want to know. Because if he didn't help his teammates get better, or he never made anyone better at all, I would expect the record to be similar to the record it was before he got there. He never missed the playoffs as a Nugget. Never missed the playoffs. Didn't miss the playoffs when he was in New York. Towards the end, things got kind of crazy. But when he was in his prime in New York, before things got crazy, Carmelo Anthony was playing at a high level. Of course, the Mike D'Antoni situation and all that nonsense that came in, it just didn't work out for Carmelo Anthony. And plus, Carmelo has never played with a top 5 player. You can say Draymond Green makes players better. Of course he does. He's a good passer. He sets screens. He's an excellent defender. But let's not forget, he's playing with a top 10 player of all time. Yes, I believe Steph Curry is a top 10 player of all time. And he played with another top 10 player of all time, Kevin Durant, and won 2 championships with him. And plus, he played with Klay Thompson, the second best shooter we have ever seen in NBA history. You can argue, you can put Ray Allen before him, or you can put him after Ray Allen, but he's a top 3 shooter of all time. Those are the people Draymond Green played with, players that are much, much better than him. Carmelo Anthony in his prime never, ever played with a player that can even be close to him when it comes to being on a basketball court in terms of skill and being a basketball player in general. He never played with anybody that was that good, like a Stephen Curry, like a Klay Thompson. Never like a Kevin Durant. Carmelo never did that. Draymond did that his whole career. He played with top players. So for someone to say Carmelo Anthony doesn't make his teammates better and he's playing with less players, and when I say less players, I'm not saying that NBA players cannot play basketball. I'm saying compared to other NBA players, Carmelo Anthony teammates were not as good as Draymond teammates. And Carmelo Anthony still makes the playoffs and he still puts up great numbers, but he just cannot win a championship with that team. Now, if that's the narrative that started all this nonsense anyway, the narrative that's saying, hey, if you don't have a championship, you are nobody. That's why people can go on TV and say Russell Westbrook, John Wall, and Carmelo Anthony never made their teammates better because they don't have a championship. This has to stop. Like, it has to. Are we going to continue to measure people by their championships? If that's the case, if you haven't played for the San Antonio Spurs, the Golden State Warriors, the Cavs, or the Miami Heat, or the Raptors in the last 10 years, basically you never made your teammates better. That's the logic we're going to use, Collin, because it doesn't make sense. Now let's move to John Wall. John Wall got Otto Porter Jr. a max contract, okay? A max contract, $100+ million. But he cannot make his teammates better. And let's not forget that Wizards organization, when John Wall was there, they never brought in the talent that John Wall needed to make an NBA Finals or to even make an Eastern Conference Final. He always went up against better teams, and he never really had help or that third guy to help him out. It was supposed to be Otto Porter Jr., but that didn't turn out right. He was just playing amazing because you know why? He was playing with John Wall, and John Wall made him better. John Wall made Bradley Beal better. And let me not even start on Gortat. Okay? Gortat was getting spoon-fed buckets from John Wall. Dish here, dish here, dish here. Just layup after layup for Gortat. He never played that good with any other point guard but John Wall. A guy that can give you a consistent 20 and 11. He doesn't make his teammates better. A guy that has the most blocked shots by a point guard in NBA history. And that's a lot of people's stigma around point guards. They don't play defense. But John Wall sacrifices his body and he plays defense. Of course, if you are a point guard that's playing defense, of course you make your teammates better. You're giving up some of your offense on the defensive end, guarding the best player, and doing everything you can to take away possessions from the other team. But somehow you can do all of this and you don't make your teammates better. Think about that, Collin. You have to think about that. You have to go look back at what John Wall used to do. And I know it's easy to talk about John Wall now because he's been injured. He's hard for him to get in the league. This happens all the time, okay? They tried this with Westbrook this year, trying to run Westbrook out the league. They got Carmelo Anthony almost out the league. And now John Wall, it's hard for him to get back in the league now. Because people like Collin can go out and say that John Wall never made his teammates better, that only thing he cares about is getting on Slam Magazine and assists and points and all this nonsense, which is not true at all. This dude literally sacrificed his body on the court day in and day out. Now, Westbrook, the media loves to make fun of him, especially this year with him having a subpar season. He did not play good at all, shot horrible from three and all that good stuff. Yeah, he did that, but the disrespect that he gets. Collin said Westbrook, Russell Westbrook, a guy that led the league 3 times in assists, a guy that made Steven Adams, and Enes Kanter look like the top bigs in the league. Think about that. At a point in time, people were on TV, Charles Barkley and other guys, saying that Steven Adams is one of the best bigs in the NBA. And you know why? Because he played with Russell Westbrook. He played with him. He made him better. He made Kevin Durant better. MVP season. Kevin Durant had his best season with Russell Westbrook. Although they could not get the NBA championship, and you can blame that on Russ, you can blame that on KD for that meltdown back in 2016. It's up to you. That's completely up to you. Victor Oladipo, 1 year with Westbrook. 1. Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 10. 1 year. After that, he went to Indiana. He changed his body. He changed his focus around the game, and he became a great player. Had the best season of his life. He was about to be a max contract player until he got hurt. He took LeBron in 7 games with the Indiana Pacers team. Remember that back in 2018? You know why? Because he played 1 season with Westbrook. Paul George, let's talk about him. Had career numbers with Westbrook. Top 3 in MVP voting with who? I don't know. Just some guy that doesn't make his teammates better. You know, he's a ball hog. He takes all the shots and he cannot shoot. Yeah, that guy. Russell Westbrook. Paul George had his best season of his life with him. Think about that. Think about that. Because I'm thinking about it. And it's ridiculous to say that he doesn't make his teammates better. Of course he does. This year with the Lakers, of course it was horrible. It didn't work out. You know why? Because the role he was playing was not good at all. Russell needs to have the ball in his hands to make things happen, to attack, to play aggressive. He plays one way. You cannot give him the ball 30% of the time and then expect him to be efficient from this field and shoot 54%. That's not going to happen. Over with. You can cancel that goodbye, night, whatever. It will not happen with Westbrook. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't make his teammates better. Think about it. Kevin Durant, MVP season. Paul George, MVP season. Basically, 3rd in voting. Victor Oladipo changed his body, changed his mindset around the game. And did I forget to mention Bradley Beal?
So for me, it's seeing how he brings it every single day. As a leader, as a player, as a father, as a man, like he is the best teammate probably I've ever had. And just in terms of his leadership, probably one of the best leaders I've been around. Because he holds himself accountable. He holds himself to a certain standard. And, you know, he kind of has this approach that he keeps that with his teammates, but he goes out there and he gives it his all every single time he touches the floor. And, you know, to see him average triple doubles, average 30-point triple doubles over the last few years, it's not by accident, you know, and that's hard work, that's dedication, that's going out there and giving it your all every single night.
Who had career numbers in scoring, playing with the Westbrook, and they made the playoffs? And Russell has made the playoffs every single season, minus this season with the Lakers, because that was just horrendous to watch. The Lakers. Minus the Lakers, when Russ was that guy, he made the playoffs every single year. Now, we know Draymond, he's playing with Clay, he's playing with Curry. Those guys were gone. And I didn't really see him make his teammates that much better. And that's not a knock on Draymond. But if Collin has to have some type of logic here, you're talking about guys who are leading teams without players like a Kevin Durant, without players like a Stephen Curry, and without a Klay Thompson to the playoffs. And when Draymond was just there, just him, no Klay, no Curry, they get the number 1 overall pick. So by your standards, does Draymond really make his teammates that much better? Or is Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry just that good? And I'm not saying the former is true. I'm not saying that Draymond doesn't make his teammates better. He does. But so does Carmelo Anthony. So does Westbrook. So does John Wall. Let's start giving players their respect, man. Let's start giving Hall of Famers their respect. Because it's ridiculous. No Hall of Famer should be talked about like this. That you don't make your teammates better. The simple thing when it comes to basketball, making your teammates better. The simplest thing, you're saying that players like Carmelo Anthony, Russell Westbrook, and John Wall, they don't have that ability. It's ridiculous. I'm done, man. Freaking done.